hearing that old phrase, a good death, which I still don't exactly understand. I've decided I've already had so many, I don't need another. Though before I go, I wish to offer some revisions to the existing vocabulary. Let us decline the pretense of the hyperfactual, the myocardial infarction, the arterial embolism, the post-operative complication. Let us forego the euphemistic, the passed away, the shuffled off his mortal coil, as worn out and passive as an old dildo. Now, if poetry can help, it is to say, she fell from her trapeze at 2 a.m. in the midst of a triple backflip in front of her favorite witnesses. Let us say, in broad daylight, Miss Abigail Miller conducted her daring escape before life, that crook, and had completely picked her pocket. It is not too late for some hero to appear and volunteer in the name of setting an example. Let us say, he flew with abandon and a joyous expression on his face, like a gust of wind or a man in a necktie from the last dinner party he would never attend. To say, he was the egg that elected to break for the greater cause of the omelet, the good piece of wood that leapt into the fire. To say, though grudging at first, he fell like the rain, with his eyes wide open, willing to change. You, Emet, are falling like the rain into this awesome, terrifying place. And we are honored to have you as our teacher in that.
So, up next is an invitation for eulogies. And in this space, the sort of prompt I want to offer for this moment of eulogizing is this. What is something Emet has taught you about life? Because at the very core, a rabbi is a teacher. And Emet has taught us all so much. And maybe that teaching came in the form of a short story. Maybe it came in a single word that you think describes your relationship with Emet. We're going to have about 2 minutes per person. And I can help you keep time. I'm going to help you keep time. And this is happening spontaneously. There's not an order, and we'll go ahead and start it up and keep it going. And then we will take some time and do the concluding ritual. So I think if you have something to say, just give me a little signal and we'll kind of bring up.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I am Emet's second mom, and when Emet joined our family at age 9, 10, we were kind of ordinary people, really, and our lives just have gotten bigger. And Emet taught us how to be better people, bigger people, and we love him dearly.
I'm Judy, Emet's aunt, and I want to say that his videos on YouTube taught me how to correctly apply my eye makeup. And I am forever grateful for that.
You taught me the holy gravity of looking at the world exactly the way it is. And you taught me the levity of rejoicing in what's beautiful.
I first met you when we were Pepperita at our If Not Now training. And that was a time in my life where I was pretty intentionally deciding to give Judaism a second chance after a long time believing that there wasn't space for queer people and lefty people in the Jewish community. And I think Rebecca said something about whoever you end up with your Bruta is meant to be. You can't pick the wrong person, but I picked the best possible person because you taught me that there's space for people like me and there's space for people like all of us in Judaism, and you taught me to hold that space and bring out everything.
Most of our deep conversations have been on Facebook Messenger while I'm in the hospital, so you taught me bravery.
So, Emet, I'm getting an image of you at a Kahila committee meeting, which is kind of a strange thing to bring. It's like this. It's a committee.
It's not really a committee if you don't have more than 2 people.
That's kind of interesting about that committee, right? That you were on the committee, and often there wouldn't be very many people there, and every time you came to a meeting, I loved the meeting. And I loved the meeting because you were real, and you were honest, and you were thoughtful, and you said what you meant, and you were nice to everybody there all the time, no matter who it was. Talk about amazing skills for a rabbi and for a human being. I just both learned a huge amount from you in that, and also what I'm learning right now is that if I want to wear shoes that look like that, I can just do it. Really? Yeah.
Sparkly unicorns.
I'm thinking about, I don't know if it was orientation to my starting our Methena year together, or like the first week of school, and somehow they did that, like go around the room and count off, and it was me, you, and Elsie, the dean of RRC, as the group, and it was like really intense life questions, and I was like, this is going to be a thing, and I don't remember what the question was, and I do remember that we had a lot of time to talk, and I remember listening to you talk a little bit about your life, and I remember just weeping for like 10 to 20 minutes from hearing about, sure, the things that you've been through, but the ways that you hold them. And I will say what you were teaching me, because I've never ever met anyone who can talk about the nuance of family and parents and loss and great gain all in the same complicated space. And yeah, I feel that and I hold that. I don't know what I'm saying entirely, but I just have never ever felt that connection before. So I appreciate you for teaching me that in the place in my life where I feel most alone, that you spoke to that place where I've never felt anyone speak to before, and that is going to stay true for me.
taught me a lot about grace and courage under pressure. And you also taught me that before you promise someone a ride to the train station, you find out which station that is.
But I want to tell a story that goes through. So I was visiting. I was doing my interview at RRC, and I had done it really late because I didn't actually apply to RRC until April, and so I hadn't set up anything. I just kind of went there, and David said he would give me a ride to the train station, except he didn't take me to 30th Street. He took me to the bus station. Wait, is that what you?
No, it was. I thought when people ask the train, they usually mean the Jenkintown station.
Yeah.
And then and then it's like, oh, I'm going to 30th Street. I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay, you promised.
Emet, we've met a very long time ago, over a decade ago. It was a very dark time in my life, and just hearing you share about the things that you've already gone through, even though we were so young, it was very inspiring, and even forward, like we were only 14, so continuing on, watching you deal with every single thing that came your way, like no matter what obstacle you faced, you just carried on with poise and grace and dignity, and you just fearlessly just like dove into life. And I'm very jealous of that, because I'm filled with fear whenever I look into the future. I'm always going to remember our friendship. And even though we weren't always very close, like every single one of the 11 years, 10 years we've known each other, like every time we reconnect, it's like we just came back to school like from the day before. Like it was like no time had passed. And I know I'll never have a friend like that ever again. So thank you for that.
I'm Stacy, Emet's friend we met in 2014 when we were both sort of going through the diagnosis process for EDS. I don't remember if Emet, if you were still going through the diagnosis process,
I was.
or you had just been diagnosed. Okay,
No, I was still going.
Yeah, so we sort of connected over that. You were one of my first people that I met in the chronic illness community, and I connected with you on not just that we were going through the diagnosis for the same illness, but we were both queer, Jewish people. I also lost my father when I was a teenager, and like we connected on that, and you've just been a really like a bright point in my life for the past 4 years, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate what you've done to help me and so many others when we were having hard times. And I just thank you for everything.
Stacey, I'm not looking at you right now because I can't turn my head that way, but
yeah.
I want you to know that even though I'm not looking at you, I love you.
I love you too.
No, it's okay.
And then I feel like a lot of our time together was us either waiting or doing.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time waiting and then doing, and I enjoyed both, but whenever we were doing something, I was like, oh wow, he's going hard right now. And I really admired that about you, and there's things that I've carried from our time together. Like the time that you secretly got top surgery and then decided to move the next day, and I was like, oh, okay. like carried that with me because I decided to take that step recently in my life, and I was like, well, if Emet can do that, I guess I can do it too. I really feel like I've carried, like we haven't spent a lot of time together, I really carried the time that we've spent forward and just remembered you as a strong figure.
So I just want to explain. Mal was my aide and worked for me for a little over a year, and we spent so much time together. Like Mal has seen literally everything in my life for a whole year, and so like I don't know, the people that have done that. There were 3 of them, and 2 of them were here this morning, and I just, even though you were paid, I just feel like it was still such a mitzvah.
Yeah, I really felt like we were becoming family, and then we were friends.
Yeah,
and we are friends. So that was important to me.
I'm thinking about the time you put together the panel where people could talk, where people were talking about gender confirmation surgery and chronic illness. And just like, not only was it, an amazing panel, but just like the feedback from the audience about like how grateful they were to have like that you created a space where we were like finally talking about this. And I mean, and I want you to know I'm gonna like keep working on those intersections and, thinking about you and, letting, your compassion and openness be a guide in that. So thank you.
Did someone on the video want to say something?
People are writing all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
I will have them. There are lots of people watching everywhere. We can try and unmute.
Mom, I should have.
Okay, wait. Someone else go on.
I should have planned this so that Rachel could watch it, but I didn't think about it.
Hang on 1 second. Just gonna turn back.
I typed a bunch, but I think I'll just say it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's just who I am. I just wanted to. We've only known each other for just like a really short amount of time. And when we met at STAR this summer, I was really grateful to not be the only one using a power chair and to not be the only one out again. And yeah, and we connected in our dorm and like little talks and like hearing lots of magic in the Beit Midrash. And when we both went our separate ways from STAR, I've been really grateful that as my health has had an adventure, you kept messaging me and writing on my post, not only with like tips and stuff for doctors, which is really helpful, but also just like being there. And in this frame and where it is now, and I'm thinking about what the next few years, like what I want that to look like, you have been the only person I've talked to honestly about where my health is, who like told me that that I had choice in this and I could decide how my time to go, and that I have agency, and we're like in different places in the country, and it's been, there's been so much to deal with, and I've just been so grateful to have a model for how to think about living years of life when they're not necessarily as long as you want them to be, and a model for what consistent kindness looks like in times when there have been so many times I couldn't even answer back, but I'm rambling now, but I think just to end, I have a value that I created after being lonely me for a really long time that it felt really important to me to tell people their impacts as soon as it happens or very soon. So that way no one goes through time without knowing their impacts. I think that it might seem that because we haven't known each other very long, there isn't a large impact, but there really is. Like to have another person with PDS who knows what's up, who's been through the, the healthcare system, who I wish, I am not doing words well, but I really care, and I really wish I was there, and thank you for being a person that's opened up a lot for me, and that is helping me understand what it looks like to live as close to how you want to as possible and to die as close to how you want to as possible.
Thank you, Yisrael.
Thank you.
Another request from Katie on the computer.
Katie, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
I'm going to turn you on.
Hi. I've been thinking about the things that you taught me, and one of the theme is that you've taught me how to be grounded. You just bring such like a level of authenticity to everything, and it makes people feel more comfortable just being authentic. But also you ground it in like other ways. Like whenever I kind of doubt or like forget about Judaism, I remember like how it's so rooted in you and like the beautiful energy that comes out of you when you talk about it. And that like really, it like brings it to the heart. And then grounded in another way, that whenever we were organizing actions and I was super stressed out about something, you're like, calm down, I'll do it. And like, within the course of 30 seconds, you took me from being super stressed to being like, and so just like really, you're just so rooted and just so rooted and wonderful. I just learned so much from you.
Okay, I just want to tell you that, I don't know if you remember this, but the last thing that you said to me before you moved away was, I'm so glad that you're my friend. And that's just like, it penetrated me like such a deep level. And I don't think I've ever had anyone say that in like those kind of words before. And I don't know, I just started weeping walking home. It was just such a kind thing to say to someone, especially if you don't have to see them again. You're just moving away, I think that was just, it's beautiful. Yeah.
I know there are about 100 people on Facebook who have watched this or are watching this at one point or time or another, and all of them, I get like 1,000 messages where people like would love to say something, get a video. So if anyone knows how to get them here, please speak up.
There's a button that says like bring them on. Like there'll be like on the bottom corner.
Yeah, but it unfortunately can't. Once they have commented, it's too late at that point apparently.
Yeah.
But
We might. I think that all the messages might.
Yeah, they're just kind of sliding through
on there as they.
So I'm gonna just have a message to the people watching this. I love you, and I know that whatever you wrote, you worked really hard on it, and I'm sure they're all amazing comments and messages, and I'm gonna read them, I promise. But I don't think it's possible to get you on there right now. But just know that I love you and that I haven't forgotten about you.
Emmett, I don't know if you remember me.
I do.
I'm glad you do. We were friends when we were freshmen at Drexel, and of all the people who I can think of who taught me anything during that year, because it was a soul-searching year for me, you taught me that there's a space for people in Judaism, even if they didn't grow up with any Judaism at all. Because community, I think as you said in some word or another, is not something that is just stagnant, but that you make it through the friendships that you create, the actions that you carry out, and the will to maintain it. So all of my experience as a Jew in many ways owes it's happening to you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's good that you're a rabbi now.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And on a separate note, and going back to your Facebook comments that you weren't able to answer, I just want to let you know, as somebody who's seen thousands, I mean literally thousands of your comments, you've helped unknown amounts of people on the internet
Amen.
getting access to resources. The EDS community, the local Philadelphia community especially, has been so blessed to have, had you as a resource, you single-handedly as a resource that helped so many people. And I think that the general consensus of the people that are commenting right now, that's what they would say, is that you've helped so many people. Thank you.
You and I met 9-10 years ago, and I had Justin Bieber hair. And we both started to wear American Eagle boxers. And I'm so glad that we've both had fashion epiphanies since then. But more importantly, you've taught me how to live fiercely and truthfully, and it's so beautiful to see the way that you've grown up and that you've created all these communities and all these people in your life, and it's been a real blessing to have been with you in various stages through that, and I'm really proud of the person that you became.
Thank you.
And I'm thinking about when we met through some of the folks here in this corner and during the Drexel time, and we both had kind of similar situations of being spat out of that institution and seeing Drexel for what it really is. But I'm thinking about the place I was in at the time when we met. I was not being true to myself. There was a lot about my gender and so many things about my beliefs that I wasn't sure about, wasn't giving enough space for, and I was kind of a cis ally for quite a long time. And I'm just thinking about in this world that we found ourselves, how this small group of queers carved out this magical space for us to escape in different Philly basements and in living rooms, and how we just were able to hold space for each other. And thinking about those different parties and get-togethers we had, where every time I would do the rounds around the house, there was someone else that you were striking up conversation with that I know that y'all had never met before, but we're talking as if you had known each other for years, and just speaking to your authenticity, and you helping teach me that we don't always have the answers, and we don't need to pretend that we do, that we can be grounded in reality, and that really brings out the best in all of us.
Okay, so two things. One, people in this corner, when the first time I met Kenny, we had this, it wasn't a party, it was just all of us standing in Kenny's living room. And
We called it a party.
we definitely did, but it wasn't. I was 17, Kane was 16.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was 15 or 14, and everyone else was drunk. I mean, they were so wasted. They couldn't even see street, and literally and all of them were throwing up.
That was me.
Yes.
I threw up in his bathtub.
Yes. Yeah, but you threw up in Kenny's bathtub. Someone else was throwing up in the toilet.
I threw up in both.
There were people throwing up everywhere, literally everywhere, and because there was no more room in the bathroom, they went somewhere else. And
reminds me of something
I was sober, and so was one of our friends, and we just spent the entire night trying to make sure that these people didn't die, and even though it was really weird, it was so much fun, and I always wanted to go back to your house and have another party after that. Also, I forgot the second thing, but I'll remember it. But yeah.
Maybe
maybe one of us should throw up now, so.
So much fun.
Good old days.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that certain things don't change.
La
door vador. That's what you say. The true friendship happens in a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm so proud of you, Emmy. I couldn't be more proud of everything that you've done. And it, to me, is everything that I think is important in life. And I just don't know how to thank you. I really don't. I'm lucid now, so yeah. You have been a great kid. And don't ever think anything different. That's right.
Thank you.
Emet, I'm bringing great greetings to you from Portland. I've heard from Marion, Simona, and Leora. One of my friends from grad school lives in Portland, has a huge extended family, and every year I go out for Pesach, and there are about 130 people at the Seder. And when Emet was really young, he said that he wanted to come with me. And
This is not what happened at all. I didn't want to come, but I was not little. I was 14.
Well,
I was 14 or 15.
That's little compared to now.
I was 14 or 15. And then also, I didn't come because I decided I wanted to go. They wanted to go to Puerto Rico. And Rachel wanted to go to Paris. And I had nowhere else to go, but I really like Pesach. So you told me that I should go with you.
Okay. I sit corrected. But anyway, he went with me several times out to Pesach. And it's an extraordinary Seder where there's anywhere from 100 to like 130 people. And Em really became an integral part of the family. Because every time we sing a song, we sing it every possible way that everyone knows. And much to some people's great joy and other people's profound disappointment, Emet always had one more too. So Marion, Simona, and Leora send their love and said that we'll be thinking about you this year.
So, okay. You should notice that the only 3 people in this room who are part of my family are these 3 people. The people who, my mom's family, and the people who we usually have Pesach with, they don't like. They're not really. They're really culturally Jewish, but really not religious, and they hate Pesach. Like they hate it.
They don't hate Pesach, but they come from that anti-religious 1920s, 1930s thing. Like it's like
they don't
foodies.
hate Pesach, they are just overwhelmingly preoccupied with
Food.
Amen.
When's dinner gonna
Sounds
be?
like a Jewish family.
Yeah.
What were you
So-
gonna say, Emma?
Anyway, before about 5, 6, 7 years ago, my grandfather used to lead the Seder, and everybody just thought he was like so drab about it. Like he didn't have any enthusiasm for it. He would just read everything like from the book, letter by letter, and then we would be done because he just didn't want to. He didn't care about like what was in there. He just read it. Like he would never skip anything. He would never add anything. Just word for word, go through the Seder. And my grandfather got to be a little older, and by a little older I mean like 99. I actually mean 99. He died when he was 100. So.
And a half.
Wow.
That half was important to him.
Yeah. Anyway, so when he was like 99, I decided he no longer had the capacity to lead, and everybody's like, oh, and we just won't do it anymore. And I was like, no, I'm gonna lead the Seder, and we're gonna all do it. And it's gonna be fun.
I asked you to.
You asked?
Take over.
Okay.
Door to door.
Anyway, but I tried to make it as fun as possible, and still these people didn't really care. And one year I got so pissed off about it, I just didn't try. I just was like, okay, we're gonna do the same thing that we always do, because obviously you guys just don't care about me working hard at like doing things. One of the things my mom and I have talked about in recent years is making our own Haggadah that is specifically tuned to their brains. And
socialism and politics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know, some people on Thanksgiving, their parents, their families, they all, you know, fight about politics. Yeah, we all agree. So instead we sing like folk songs and talk about, you know, overthrowing the government. You know,
It's like a workman's circle meeting. It
Mhm.
is like
Is there anyone else?
Thanks, Sam.
Oh, and I was gonna say, okay, but then the last thing. So that part of the family is there. But then there's also, you know, my biological family. They're a little bit off the deep end. I don't want to insult them too much, but you know, they don't know how to handle stuff well. They just don't. They kind of, I don't know, that's not a capacity that they have. And I feel like if any one of them were here, they would think this was like the most offensive thing they'd ever seen.
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Especially grandma.
Yeah. They would just be like, my grandmother would think it's offensive to Judaism. And my other relatives would just think it's like just too creepy and weird. And I think my uncle would think it's too queer. Anyway.
And weird.
Yeah, and weird. But
Never too much queer and weird.
you know, through all of this, especially, I've learned that, you know, I finally, like, I think it got into my head that I don't need them. I just don't need them. You know, I think before this started happening, I was like, eventually I'll make up with them, and we'll all live happily ever after and stuff. And I realize now that, you know, I just don't need them.
But it doesn't make it less painful.
Oh no, I'm not saying it does.
I'm gonna jump in with one thing. So I've known Emmett I tried to do the math and it didn't work out well for me because I can't do math anymore. But I've met Emmett, and I remember the day I met Emmett was actually before our first day of high school. I walked into this orientation meeting knowing absolutely no one in the room. I just switched schools because of one reason or another, and this amazing person just walks up to me and starts making conversation like no one's business. I have never met this person in my life, and I know no one else in the room, and I've made my first friend in Heschel in like 2 minutes. And I don't know if I ever thanked you for that, because you didn't just make me your friend, you also brought me into a community of friends. And this is something that you didn't just do once, you did twice, because then, of course, high school ends and friends move away, and then you and then really get to, if you're lucky enough, get to reach back out and get back in touch with some people. And I moved to Philadelphia a year and a half ago, and who is the first person that like finds out but Emet Tauber. Emet Tauber reaches out to me, we're going for lunch. I'm like, I don't even know where I am. I have like, no clothing, I have no furniture, I bought like barely the things I've carried in on my back, and I'm going for lunch. And this is just the thing. I've known Emmett for years, and there's a saying I've mentioned before, and I'll say again: Baruch atah b'lecha, Baruch atah b'tzeitecha. Blessed are you in the coming and the going. And Emet has always been this person who has blessed the comings and goings, who has basically made them into something that are treasured, who welcomes you in and welcomes you out and welcomes you back in again, since he knows that you will come in through the doors of his heart one more time. And I don't know if I ever thanked you for that, because it is more than just as a person that you are that brings blessing, but you are a force that brings community. Mm-hmm. And that is the thing in Judaism that is possibly the most important thing, and the thing I need most of all. And I thank you for being this pillar of community, being this person who gathers and organizes and brings people together, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Ma nora hamakom hazeh.
Ma nora hamakom hazeh.
How awesome is this place?
How awesome is this place?
How scary is this place?
How scary is this place?
How full of grief is this place?
How full of grief is this place?
How beautiful is this place?
How beautiful is this place?
How queer 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 is this place?
It's so queer.
It's so queer that I was thinking about all the people that are coming today, and I was talking to someone and I was like, I actually don't think I have any straight friends.
How queer is this place?
How queer is this place?
How magical is this place?
How magical is this place?
How full of love is this place?
How full of love is this place?
How lucky are we?
How lucky are we?
Ma nora hamakom hazeh.
Ma nora hamakom hazeh.
How awesome is this place?
How awesome is this place?
So, the next thing, since we're clearly at an action, as we just did a mic check, is we are going to get ready for an action. For every action, for every next action. And we are going to do that by adorning this legacy banner, which Jen and Abby worked on, and Jordan worked on. And we have some markers and some options for adornment. And my understanding of this legacy banner is that it is a place where the awesomeness will live on, where Emet's organizing will live on, where Emet will continue to march in the streets with all of us for every action and every next action and every reaction that we are all called to together. So the invitation is to come to the banner and to put something on it. It could be just some color, or it could be a word of inspiration. It could be one of your commitments to the movement, and to adorn this banner with all of those things that we all need to keep going, and which Emet has offered us and taught us and learned with us together. Do you have anything else you want to say about the banner?
No.
Okay. So, if you'll join me. Ozi Zimratia Vayeni Lishua. We're going to keep this singing going as we adorn the banner. Ozi Zimratia Vayeni Lishua. As you're able to be up, and we're going to shuffle the room to make this work.
You can airdrop it. Yeah. I think. Is it a long video? Because you could probably just send it. Yeah. Okay, you can air. Ozi Bezimradia
Mic check.
Mic check.
I realize I'm not the kind of person.
I realize I'm not the kind of person
who wants to go with the flow.
Who wants to go with the flow
And fit in.
and fit in.
I'm an agitator.
I'm an agitator.
I'm opinionated.
I'm opinionated.
I'm a libertine.
I'm a libertine.
And a leader.
And a leader.
I've realized.
I've realized.
I'm not the kind of person.
I'm not the kind of person
Who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
I'm an agitator.
I'm an agitator.
I'm opinionated.
I'm opinionated.
I'm a libertine.
I'm a libertine.
And a leader.
And a leader.
I
realized
I'm not the kind of person.
I'm not the kind of person
Who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
who wants to go and fit in.
I'm an agitator.
I'm an agitator.
I'm opinionated.
I'm opinionated.
I'm a libertine.
I'm a libertine.
And a leader.
And a leader.
I realize
I'm
not the kind of person
I'm not the kind of person
who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
I'm an agitator.
I'm an agitator.
I'm opinionated.
I'm opinionated.
I'm a libertine.
I'm a libertine.
And leader.
And a leader.
I realize
I'm
not the kind of person
I'm not the kind of person
who wants to go with the flow
who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
I'm an agitator.
I'm an agitator.
I'm opinionated.
I'm opinionated.
I'm a libertine.
I'm a libertine.
And a leader.
And a leader.
I realize
that
I'm not the kind of person
I'm not the kind of person
who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
who wants to go with the flow and fit in.
I'm an agitator.
I'm an agitator.
I'm opinionated.
I'm opinionated.
I'm a libertine.
I'm a libertine.
And a leader.
And a leader.
And a comrade.
And a comrade.
I just want to thank everybody for coming. I know that some of you have traveled from far and wide to be here, and it just makes me so happy that you could be here. I've told everyone that, I never realized how much of a community and how many people love me I had until something really bad happened to me, and I think that's sadly the way it just is in most situations. And I want you to show each other that you love them and that you have community, so that you can realize how much you have before something bad happens to you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And when you leave, just come up. I want to talk to literally everyone in this room. So if you want to spend 30 seconds or a minute with me, and then before you leave, you can find your toothbrush case. And if you want to stay longer, we're welcome to go back to my room and just talk.
Well, actually, we have some refreshments for everyone in the kitchen.
Oh, that's right.
We have shakes and fries. So there are a couple of flavors of milkshakes and some fries, and you are absolutely welcome to hang out in that area and flow over into the quiet room. The hospice staff is really happy to have all of us here, and they do ask that we're just mindful that there are other people who are on this floor, and so just keep your voices quiet when you're chatting. You can hang out in the kitchen and keep the food around there, and relax and enjoy yourself, and come and speak to Emet. And Emet, I just wanted to say thank you for having us here today. Thanks for inviting us, and thanks for bringing us into your space and surrounding us with your awesome presence and being here with us. It's just a really, really, really magical place.
Thank you. Okay.
Manora. Nora Hamakomase.
Let's sing ourselves out.
Ricky, I'm so
Happy for you. I hope that this brings you joy and many adventures with God. Yeah. Katie, I'm really excited to see you on Saturday. Sarah, thank you so much for planning this. You did a beautiful job, really. No, I know I'll see you again. Yeah. And then Julie, thanks so much for being an awesome, if not now, organizer and doing so many cool events and, you know,
This is one of the most uplifting events I've been to in my entire life. How about that?
I can't.
I love it.
I am you. Nice to meet you. He was dying. I feel like yeah, I know. It's fabulous. No? Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay. I know. I love this. I love the slippers. I know. They're
Michael, what do you do? You're on the live stream. Yeah.
Do you want to say anything?
Hello, live streamers. I can't tell who all of you are, but if you're,
You can turn the camera around, right? How do you turn it around?
Oh wait, you can, but I can just do it this way.
You can for a hug because I have to get the bus back
Yeah.
to New York.
Bye, Derek. Okay. Hi, live streamers. Oh, I see Karen. I love you, Karen. Anyway, hi, live streamers. I'm so glad that we were able to use technology to bring you here. And I hope that you can see me again before I go. You can come here and we can interact in person. And if not, I want you to know that I love you and that I'm proud of you, and I can't wait to see what type of impact you guys make on the world. Okay, I think we should just finish it now. Okay, we're gonna go sign off now, but I love you so much. Bye.